So you're sitting at your desk with the liveliness and tenacity of 10 dead rats, and you're thinking, how can I feel like this? Well, the answer is, bit of pre-worky. Yeah, today we're going over caffeine and we're going to talk about some, we're not just going to do the basics. I see some of the other videos out there, they're just talking about like, oh, this is what caffeine does, this is how long it lasts, and that's all they talk about in the video's 15 minutes. So to get the basics out of the way, caffeine blocks adenosine, and adenosine makes you tired. It binds to adenosine receptors to make you tired, and caffeine puppy guards the receptors so that adenosine can't bind so you don't feel tired. Okay, so it's not like giving you more energy, it's just making you block out the tired signaling, actually, which is kind of interesting. So you feel a lot more alert, your blood vessels constrict a little bit, and if we look at meta-analyses, what does this mean for performance? Well, as far as endurance goes, this one that cited a few studies said, okay, 1% gain with endurance, which is, I mean, it's not zero, but it's pretty minor. If we look at strength, this meta-analysis said, well, it's going to give you about 2% increase in strength, which again, it's a non-zero improvement, but it's not absurd. So yes, it is a performance enhancer. I'd just be careful with the endurance stuff because, as I said, it will constrict your blood vessels, which can make it difficult to dilate, which is what you have to do when you run to get more oxygen through your blood vessels. So I wouldn't do a high dose for that, but I think an overlooked part about these, pure meta-analysis studies is that, just a bit of more alertness will help you really grit your teeth through a harder session. I think that's kind of undervalued as well. Caffeine is dopaminergic. It makes you happy. That's why we do it. Not because it's red and tastes good, but it helps. I'm working on my interior design, so I'm just gonna, yeah, it's perfect, it's really artistic. And because it's dopaminergic and if we're having caffeine before training, your brain kind of links the two and it's like, okay, pre-worky, fun, therefore training fun, because it kind of comes at the same time, which can be really advantageous, right? Because if you build up that benefit and it's like, okay, I love training, but you don't actually, you just love the pre-worky, but the outcome is you love training and you train more, which is good. Now quickly, dose and timing. I see people in these same boring videos, it's like, caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. It's like, yes, but it varies so much between people, like drug tolerance in general varies so much. Some people are gonna have half-lives of like 2.5, 3 hours. Some people are stuck at like 12 hours. And what half-life means is the amount of time for the amount in your bloodstream to half. So if you have 200 milligrams of caffeine, it all absorbs just because it's caffeine. And then say 6 hours later, you have 100 in your bloodstream. Half-life of 6 hours, which means it really takes a long time for it to get back to zero, right? And this is why we won't really see detox or withdrawal effects till like later on in the next day. It's not immediate. And I want you to keep in mind the fact that we are gonna vary, and you'll probably sooner or later figure out whether or not you are a fast or a slow metabolizer based on how it's gonna affect your sleep. Of course, if it's blocking the adenosine and some of it's wearing off, but it's wearing off slowly, that adenosine isn't gonna come until later to make you actually feel sleepy. Unless you're just completely cracked. Like I have a friend who, he had like a full scoop of pre-workout, which was like, I don't know, 300 milligrams. And then like half an hour, 40 minutes later, he's just like, can't really be arsed, and just went to have a nap. Like, I don't know how that works. This is why I don't treat physiology as like a set of dogmatic rules. It's like, sometimes the rules just don't really apply. But if you are struggling to sleep, try and dial back the caffeine dosage or the timing, because those will both affect how much is actually in your bloodstream by the time you go to sleep. And the one thing you want to avoid is like the cycle of being, okay, I'm tired, okay, I'll have caffeine. I had caffeine, now I can't sleep. The next day, oh, I'm tired, so you have more caffeine. And then the caffeine's not really doing anything because you're already tired. It can't really fix a bad night of sleep, but you do it anyway and then you can't sleep. You see what I mean? It's just not ideal. You do not want to be stuck in this loop. If you are stuck in it, just like really tail off the caffeine that day. Just have a tired day. Get to bed early, because you will with less caffeine, and then you'll feel better and you can just reset. Okay, so as far as resetting tolerance, this is quite interesting because, as I said before, these adenosine molecules are going to bind to the adenosine receptors, and when we have caffeine, it blocks all the receptors. So what happens? Well, we start making more receptors, so we can start binding the adenosine, which means people take more caffeine to block the extra receptors, right? And what happens when we stop having caffeine? We start down-regulating these receptors, so we start getting rid of them, we recycle them. We don't need as many because we're not having caffeine. And some people are gonna say, oh, you can have a full detox in a week. Some people are gonna say, oh no, it takes 6 months. The thing is, it's just a constant steady decline in these receptors, so it might actually take, you know, a while, but you are going to see some benefits of coming off caffeine. If you really want it to have some sting like a week later, you are going to feel that benefit even just after a few days, because you are still down regulating them. It's not like you have to wait 2 weeks, otherwise it's going to do nothing. So keep that in mind. I think people get that wrong as well. People will just see online, well, oh, it takes 2 months, but they don't really read into the actual biological mechanism which underlines the recommendation. Okay, so it's more important. But anyway, yeah, it's just a steady decline, right? So it's really up to you how much you want to reset it, right? Do you want to reset it fully, or maybe take off like, I don't know, 2 months? Do you want to reset just a little bit to have a bit more sting for something on the weekend? Okay, just maybe have Wednesday through Friday off. It's gonna do something, okay? And another cheeky trick, because no one likes detoxing from caffeine, you get like a mild headache, you're just a bit tired. I kind of just get bored. It's like, I just want some pre-worky, dude. I'm bored. I want a pre-worky. But the thing is, when you get like a little bit under the weather, you'll find that caffeine doesn't really do anything. So just take that opportunity just to have a few days off anyway, because you're gonna feel the same anyway. You probably already have a headache and are tired, so yeah, pre-worky just doesn't work anyways. Just have some time off. Another cool circumstance is if you're traveling, like long distance flights, maybe you got like 24 hours of traveling coming up, dude. Just have the time off caffeine. You'll just sleep through everything. It's fantastic. It's like, oh, I gotta sit in this bus for an hour. What do you know? I'm sleeping. The bus ride took 5 minutes because I was only awake for 5 minutes. Oh, I got an 8-hour flight, dude. I can't sleep on planes. Well, now you can, because you're not having caffeine and you feel very tired. So you just sleep the whole way through. It's fantastic. And then you also resensitize some of your receptors by that down regulation. So sickness, long traveling, just take those times to detox a little bit. I find that quite helpful because you kind of circumvent all the actual downsides. It becomes like upsides with the traveling because you just teleport, dude. You're just sleeping. Now, a few more notes. Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it's going to flush out some of the water. Some people are going to say it could cramp, it could cause cramping because you're flushing out, you know, the water and potentially some of your sodium as well. The science isn't really there, but if you are cramping, perhaps that's what's happening. So maybe get some extra salt in, maybe don't have as much. If you don't have an issue, then don't worry, just have more pre-work. No, I wouldn't say that, but a big point here, you don't have to have caffeine ever. And like if you suffer from anxiety induced by caffeine, just don't have any, you don't need to. Like most adults do. The stats are pretty crazy about how many people consume coffee or caffeine. But like, again, you don't have to, it's kind of like alcohol. It's like, everyone does it, but you probably shouldn't. Another key point here is like nothing is gonna match actually getting better sleep in. So prioritize that above everything else. Because it's like, oh, I'm tired, I want some pre-working to train well, but then it means you can't sleep. And then your training the next day suffers. So it's not really worth it. Sleeping is like the #1 thing for genuinely everything. Mental health, training progression, overall health, longevity. Go to bed. Another cool thing, if for whatever circumstance you are having caffeine late and you're gonna do it anyway, there's a molecule called L-theanine which you can get. It's cheap, it's safe, and it can kind of mask some of the effects of sleep inhibition from caffeine, which is pretty handy. So just have like a regular serving size of that L-theanine. Maybe you can put it in your pre-workout. Some pre-workouts already have it, but it can just make it a bit easier to sleep if you have it like with the pre-workout or before bed. Really handy stuff to have. Just if you're like at home, it's like 9 p.m. and you know you're not sleeping for a while, you're just hopped up, dude. Get some L-theanine in. And the last note, as I mentioned before, your brain correlates things that are enjoyable with the things that are beside it. So as I said before, the pre-workout next to the training. A cool thing is you can kind of incentivize yourself to accomplish things just by having the caffeine as a reward for something. So it might be, okay, I am not allowed to have my morning coffee until I get like, I don't know, an hour of work done. And then it's like really nice, it incentivizes you to get through the other end as opposed to just having it like right when you wake up. Not to mention you probably shouldn't have it when you wake up because it'll block the adenosine, and you have some adenosine when you wake up in the morning just because you were sleeping. And then if you block all the receptors, the adenosine can't bind, so it's just kind of like floating in limbo, and then as soon as the caffeine wears off, it binds, and then you get tired a few hours into the day, which is not really ideal. So that's like one of Huberman's number one things he always says, just wait like at least an hour before you rip into that. So that's my closing message, but hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was a little different. Again, I don't like these generic videos. It's always like some doctor in scrubs as well, just talking about basic points. It's like, surely 10 years of medical training led to you having some more interesting ideas and forward, I don't know, intuitive thinking, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. But anyway, that's been me. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing. It's free, helps me out, and I'd love to have you on board.